Let me greet and acknowledge, I haven't seen her really. Oh, I see her now. The Deputy Permanent Secretary to the President, Mebuko, and state that she was actually my classmate at law school. Recognize the Attorney General, Marco Abraham. Recognize our Chief of Staff in the Office of the President, the radical economist, the disruptive thinker, Dr. Upa Tseko, who challenges and pushes you hard, wears his emotions on his sleeves. So at any point in time, you know and can tell what he is feeling and thinking. You don't have to guess. That's a very good thing. Recognize all permanent secretaries and senior government officials here with us today. And among them, I humbly recognize many who were my students, whom I taught one course or another in the course of my career as a law teacher, and some of whom I have encountered in the course of practice before the courts of this republic. Let me recognize one and all and thank you for being here. We recognize members of the media, all of them, and thank them for the work that they do, including the spread of fake news sometimes. I was reading last night on reminding myself on freedom of expression. And I reminded myself that freedom of expression must be defended the most when it hurts, not only when it flatters, because sometimes it flatters only to deceive. So even when it hurts us, we must put our bodies on the line in defense of freedom of expression. It is one of the most important of the fundamental rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. That is why in the constitutional jurisprudence of the United States, it is the most important right and can hardly ever be abridged or restricted. And to all others who are here, including the support staff and security personnel, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We are here today, and I welcome all of you, not just to this event, but appreciate you in the new year. We have hardly met and interacted except in the rigid or rigidified context of cabinet. That is hardly ever an interaction at all. We haven't laughed, shared jokes as we did before, because we haven't had time to do so. But it is important that from time to time we interact on a light and cheerful note, so that we always constantly remind ourselves that above everything else we are all human beings. And they say the word human comes from the Latin word humando, which means burial. That we all are in that short trek from womb to tomb. That journey that lies splattered between two legal instruments, the birth and the death certificate. And the question that we must encounter at the end of this journey is, what kind of human beings were we? They say it's a relational question. Who did you help? Who were you useful to? What kind of human being were you? And so we are all wrestling in our individual and collective spaces with this question that examines, that probes, that unsettles, that unhinges, takes us to the very core of who we are, our reason for existence. This retreat, which should have taken place a long time ago, takes place now, and it is but the first phase of an orientation program that will continue, and it will not stop until we reach the end of this journey, when we are lowered into the depths. We have, all of us here, if I may prefigure and frame the discourse, and I start at the personal. And in my battles as a human rights activist, I was taught that the personal is political. So I start with the personal, for all of us. And the personal is the self, yourself, myself. Self, yourself, myself, it denotes a concept of ownership. You own the self, you own yourself, you are in control, you are in charge, or so we assume.